Today, we're gonna make a video that probably nobody is gonna watch based on how many people watched my last video on ballpoint pens. But that's okay, we're gonna have some fun because today we're gonna talk about crazy, complicated Japanese multi-pens. By the way, if you're curious what is my worst performing video of all time, it's the one I made about the Sailor Tuzu rollerball pen. This pen here. It was published a couple weeks ago. So if you're curious, worst performing video of all time, you can check that out. So multi-pens. So we're going to talk about some of these crazy Japanese multi-pens and why they're just insane from an engineering perspective and how they're relatively affordable given what they offer. But let's start by talking about what most people think about when they think about a multi-pen. And that is, of course, the Bick Crystal multi-pen. This is a pretty cool pen. This is Bick, as many of you know, is a French company. This is one of those models that is still made in France. It has this little cool Bick logo cut out here in the clip. And it's a really decent pen. Design hasn't changed in decades. But there are two areas of improvement that you could argue this pen could go through. One is when you push down these colors. I'm having a hard time talking and doing it. They're quite stiff. This isn't the best, smoothest, most pleasant to use mechanism. So that's one. And the second is, if I can use my Mitsubishi bank paper pad here, the ink is just the standard Bick Crystal ballpoint ink. So perfectly usable, but nothing, a little skipping here, nothing to write home about. So decently good pen, but nothing exciting. So I'm gonna go in order of craziness. The logical upgrade to that Bick Crystal multi-pen is something like this. This is the Pilot Toledo. This is a gel-based refill. And right away, hopefully you can see this is a nicer body, nicer fit and finish versus the Bick. It is, of course, a more expensive pen. The Bick is in the $2 to $4 range. This pen here with the refills is more like $10 to $12, so it is more expensive. But you get much nicer build quality, much nicer to use mechanism, and the refills are gel-based, which are nice and smooth. You can see very nicely made overall. Now, the problem with gel refills is they wear out really quickly, especially in these multi-pens that use these quite thin refills. So you see these refills are quite thin. So these refills tend to wear out quite quickly. So from there, the logical next step is something like this. This is the Pilot Acro Ball 4+1. It's similar to others offered by companies like Zebra and Uni. This is the Uni 4+1. And these are fairly inexpensive pens for what they offer. And this is the next step up over the something like a Pilot Toledo. And the craziness continues because 4+1, you have 4 colors, the black, blue, green, and red. And then you also have a mechanical pencil. And a mechanical pencil that has a nice click mechanism. And of course, since you have a mechanical pencil, an eraser. Now, the use of an eraser that's this size, I'm not sure. But again, over-engineered, overcomplicated pens. This pen is less than $5. And honestly, this is a lot of engineering for $5. The other cool thing about these Japanese multi-pens, the Acro balls, the jet streams, and the zebras with the emulsion ink, is that they are actually hybrid ballpoint ink. So they solve the problem I mentioned earlier about the Toledo and the gel ink and gel running out very fast. These are oil-based inks, but they're ultra low viscosity oil-based inks, and they write like gel. So you can see very dark, vibrant colors. I'll show you the red so you can compare it to the Bick Crystal ink above. So you can hopefully see this is a huge improvement over the Bick Crystal. And honestly, not much more expensive, because don't forget, you also get the mechanical pencil. Cool. So moving up from there, so we had the Pilot Acro Ball and the Uni Jetstream, the 4+1s with their hybrid inks and their mechanical pencils. From here, things start to get crazy. So Japanese pens have long liked using wood into the pens. You have popular pens like the Pilot S20, S30, the Lagno. You have pens like the Pilot Custom series of the fountain pens made in wood. Platinum makes pens made out of wood. Sailor makes pens out of wood. So naturally, why not incorporate wood into a 4+1? So this is the Pilot Dr. Grip Wood 4+1, and it's very similar to this $5 plastic version I showed you earlier. It uses the same ink. It has a similar mechanical pencil mechanism. It, of course, has a similar eraser in the end. But this is a noticeable step up in quality, both in terms of the finish of the barrel, which is a sturdier plastic than the $5 version, the clip, which is, I think it's actually metal, but it feels very nice, and then you have the wooden grip section. So the ink is the same, so the same Acro Ball hybrid ink, but this feels like a very premium pen, especially for the price. This pen is not the easiest pen to find in the US. Sometimes you can find it on Amazon. It's not always in stock. But in Asia, this pen is around $15, which is not cheap for a ballpoint pen. But this is also not a throwaway pen. And for those of us who are fountain pen fans, I suspect since you're watching this video, you're likely a fountain pen fan. $15 is really not a lot of money. So you're getting a lot for your money here. So next up, in my opinion, on the craziness scale, is a very similar pen. But this is the very similar shape and size to the previous pen, also with a wooden section. But this is the Friction 4+1. So, the Friction 4. There's no +1, because the Friction, as you may know, is erasable ink. So since the ink is erasable, there's no need to have a pencil, and hence no need to have a pencil eraser, but instead we have the traditional Friction ball here. So this is a pretty crazy pen, because you have 4 Friction gel-based erasable inks in a single pen with a very nice wooden grip. So this is the Pilot Friction 4. And there's a tripod in the way, so apologies for the messy writing here. But if you didn't like the way that looked, you can pretend it never happened. So very cool pen. This is a little bit more expensive than the wooden 4+1. This pen is about $20. Next, we get into, I would consider, the premium multi-pens. One that's really popular, but nothing really special, so I won't take a lot of time to talk about it, is the Zebra Sharbo. The Sharbo comes in 2+1, 3+1s. They all have this shape. This particular one is my favorite with the carbon grip section. But otherwise, nothing too special. The one that I think is the craziest of all is this. This is made by Uni, or the Mitsubishi Pencil Company, and this is the Premium Oak Series 3+1. So one interesting thing that happens when you start going from the more inexpensive pens like the Pilot, the Acro Ball, to the more premium pens like this Mitsubishi is that the refills change from these plastic housing refills like these. Probably looks familiar. They go from these plastic refills to metal refills. So they're called the D1 size. Can't talk and do something at the same time. But the D1 sized metal housing refills that look like this. So these have the same ink. So this is a Mitsubishi Jetstream based ink. So it's the same ink as in any other Jetstream multi-pen, but they're in these little metal refills. So these don't last as long. They supposedly write better, but honestly, I can't tell. But what makes this pen crazy is two things. One is this quite premium oak section. It's quite large, it's quite wide, it's very nice to hold, and it's just nice. It's nice to look at, and it's nice to feel. The other thing that is crazy is the mechanism. So you see here, you have a black oval, the 0.5 to show this is a pencil. You have a blue oval and a red oval. Now, that's nice, but how do you know which color is going to come out the front? Because there's only one plunger. So how this works is whichever color is facing you, that's the color that's going to come out. So right now I'm holding the pen with the black facing me. Push down, and hopefully you can see that's a black tip. You push the clip to retract. If I want the blue, now I have the blue facing me. Push down, and hopefully you can see that's blue. So just to prove it to you, blue. Now retract. If I want red, now I have the red facing me. Click down, and now you have red. And of course the mechanical pencil, if that's facing me, push down, and then now the clip goes all the way down. Now the clip allows me to advance the lead, and now I have pencil. So really cool mechanism, gravity based, of course. Very cool mechanism, very cool pen, interesting refills. And this pen in Asia is in the $30 range. So getting a bit pricey, but again, for the amount of crazy engineering that goes into these products, I don't think these are crazy prices. $30 for this much pen seems like a pretty good deal. But this is really the entry point. You get 70% at least of the utilization with a pen like this for $5. And this is really an interesting, crazy, over-engineered Japanese multi-pen that hopefully will make you smile with its bright colors and crazy mechanisms, and a mechanical pencil if you need it, and someone help you if you need an actual eraser, but there's an eraser there. So anyway, for the 3 of you that are probably still left watching this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was fun. This was fun for me. I've wanted to talk about Japanese multi-pens for a while. So thanks for amusing me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.